It's not my job. There is nothing I can do about it. I didn't know the deadline was yesterday. Have you already heard these sentences from your team? Are you frustrated with accountability as a manager? In this video, I will share 5 steps how to hold your team members accountable and boost ownership. Let's dive in. A few years ago, as the manager of a large company's learning and development team overseeing 14,000 colleagues, challenges were constant. My colleagues' work was very much interconnected, so I really couldn't afford to fall anyone behind. Yet, one direct report consistently missed deadlines, often blamed the circumstances or other departments for his lack of delivery. What's more, he questioned every new initiative we aimed to implement in the business. So I kept asking myself, how can I make him more accountable for his own performance? We all know that holding people accountable is one of the essential leadership skills when it comes to delivering outstanding results. While we recognize its importance in team's culture, creating and nurturing accountability, it's easier said than done. To be honest, it's reassuring to know that I am not alone with this struggle. According to the CEO survey, 18% of the CEOs find holding people accountable as their biggest weakness, and 15% said they struggle with letting go other performers. As leaders, we sometimes fail to urge colleagues to account for their actions or simply use bad management approaches. In my case, as a young manager, I struggled with this issue and I tried many ineffective strategies to influence my team members' behavior. Initially, I procrastinated, avoiding the uncomfortable confrontation due to other responsibilities and a desire to preserve our relationship. Meanwhile, I was getting impatient and frustrated, so I started to micromanage him, closely monitor his actions, and maintain strict control. Eventually, I implemented financial penalties and aggressively questioned his contribution. These actions diminished rather than enhanced the sense of accountability and causing discomfort and damage in our relationship. So I came to the conclusion that instead of micromanaging and keeping him a tight leash, I have to completely switch my mindset and provide him freedom in a given framework. Here are my 5 steps to help you hold your team members accountable. First, set clear expectations. It all starts with creating clear and shared expectation. It's hard to hold someone accountable if they don't know what is being asked of them. But it doesn't all have to come from you. In fact, the more skilled your people are, the more ideas and strategies should be coming from them. When I changed my perspective, I realized that instead of telling my colleague what, how, and when to do things, I should ask questions. What would success look like for you? How do you plan to reach it? What could be the measurement metrics on this project? When can you deliver this metric? I let him to think about his options and made sure that we end up on the same page. At the end of the conversation, we wrote a summary which provided us a useful framework for the future. Second, create psychological safety. The next step in promoting accountability is to create a psychologically safe space for employees to share their struggles. When individuals feel pressure, they may shy away from accountability, so they might play safe game or hide every mistake. In my story, instead of getting frustrated by him, I practiced empathy and actively listened to my colleagues' difficulties. I asked questions like, so what aspects do you find most challenging and where can you make an impact? I have to admit that it was challenging for me to stop myself solving every issue and instead allow him to find his solutions. I believe the key is empathizing with their struggles while demonstrating trust in their positive performance. Third, establish a follow-up process. Due to my bad experience with my colleague, I had some doubts. Is he really going to deliver on his commitments? To address this, I implemented a clear follow-up process. This involved determining the frequency of meetings, metrics measurement, and tracking the key milestones. Increased visibility was achieved by reviewing progress in scheduled one-on-ones. In these sessions, I didn't just provide honest, constructive feedback, but also asked for feedback. Is there something I can do to be more helpful? 4. Provide necessary resources. Identify the skills and resources essential for meeting expectations. Consider if there is need for skill development and whether you can provide guidance along the way. I wanted my colleague to succeed in his journey for my team's and my own sakes. So I was willing to provide whatever support he needed, such as resources, capability, or assistance. this proactive approach contributed to enhancing his confidence and ownership. Fifth, use appropriate consequences. If my colleague continues to underperform and fails to demonstrate accountability despite following the established steps, sometimes the kindest and bravest action is to release someone who isn't performing, as he may not be the right fit for the role. As a summary, here are 5 steps which I recommend for you to follow. First, set clear expectations. Second, create psychological safety. Third, establish a follow-up process. Fourth, provide the necessary resources. And fifth, use appropriate consequences. In my story, my team members' accountability didn't appear immediately. It demanded patient nurturing and dedication on my part, consistently following the above-mentioned leadership steps. But after a few months of hard work, he evolved into one of my trusted colleagues and improved his performance. So which steps can support your leadership journey to hold others accountable? If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel. See you soon!